The demonstration hall at EduVerse headquarters buzzed with energy as thousands of students across the globe simultaneously explored the Battle of Gettysburg in perfect historical detail. Through our latest neural haptic interfaces, they could feel the summer heat, hear the cannon fire, and understand the complex strategies that shaped American history. Dr. Isabella Martinez? My assistant David appeared, tablet in hand. The National Education Board is here for the implementation review. And your former principal just arrived. I smiled, remembering that fateful school board meeting 3 years ago when Principal Thompson had led the chorus of voices dismissing my vision for virtual reality education. VR headsets instead of textbooks? He'd scoffed, while other board members shook their heads. This isn't a video game, Ms. Martinez. We're trying to run a serious educational institution. Now, as CEO of the world's leading educational technology platform, I was about to announce our latest milestone. 50 million active students and a revolutionary approach to learning that had transformed education forever. Send them to the Innovation Lab, I told David, and pull up our latest engagement metrics. The elevator opened to reveal Principal Thompson, looking decidedly less confident than during our last encounter, and the education officials who were here to make EduVerse the national standard for K-12 education. Welcome to the future of learning, I said, gesturing to the immersive environments surrounding us, where education isn't just about memorizing facts, it's about experiencing knowledge. 3 years ago, as a high school history teacher, I'd spotted something everyone else missed. While schools struggled with declining engagement and retention rates, students were spending hours mastering complex skills in video games. The solution was obvious. Bring that same level of immersion and interactivity to education. Your daily active users just hit 53 million, David announced, pointing to the climbing numbers on our holographic display. Average test score improvement, 40% across all subjects. Principal Thompson's skeptical expression faltered. The last time he'd dismissed my video game teaching, I was still trying to fund my first prototype. Let me show you something, I said, activating our global learning map. Glowing points of light represented millions of students engaged in simultaneous learning experiences across every continent. This isn't just virtual reality, I explained. It's a comprehensive educational ecosystem. Our AI adapts each experience to the individual student's learning style, pace, and interests. But the practical applications. One board member started. I pulled up our outcomes dashboard. Students in our biology program can explore the human body at cellular level. Chemistry students conduct dangerous experiments safely in virtual labs. Physics classes witness the birth of stars. This isn't just teaching, it's experiencing. The main display showed live feeds from various EduVerse sessions. Students walking through ancient Rome, exploring molecular structures in 3D, practicing heart surgery in perfect simulation. Every lesson is data-driven, I continued. Our AI tracks comprehension, engagement, and retention in real time, adjusting the experience to optimize learning outcomes. My phone buzzed, a message from our development team. New neural interface achievement. Emotional engagement tracking now at 99.7% accuracy. Learning retention up another 25%. This was another advantage we had. While traditional education relied on standardized tests and one-size-fits-all approaches, we were creating personalized learning experiences that adapted to each student's needs. 3 years ago, I said, turning to Principal Thompson, you told me that VR would never work in serious education. Remember what you said? He shifted uncomfortably in his suit. You said, students need structure, not entertainment. Well, last month alone, our platform facilitated 300 million hours of learning. More importantly, we're seeing unprecedented improvements in comprehension, retention, and critical thinking skills. The board members exchanged impressed glances. They hadn't come just for a review. They saw the future of education. Show them the language program, David suggested. I nodded, pulling up another display. Our immersive language learning environment has achieved what traditional methods couldn't in decades. Students achieve fluency 300% faster through virtual cultural immersion and AI-powered conversation practice. And the accessibility? A board member asked. Our platform works on any device, I replied. From high-end VR headsets to basic smartphones. We're democratizing access to experiential learning. The lab's environmental systems automatically adjusted as we entered a new simulation. Students could feel the climate of ancient Egypt while studying its history. But the real breakthrough, I continued, is in student engagement. I switched to our analytics platform, showing how students who once struggled with traditional learning were now thriving. We're not just teaching differently, we're reigniting the natural love of learning. Principal Thompson watched as a group of students explored the quantum realm, their excitement palpable even through the virtual interface. The national implementation you came to discuss? I smiled. Let's talk about making it global. David appeared with a tablet. The results from the international pilot program just came in. Test scores up 60% in underserved regions. UNESCO wants to discuss immediate worldwide deployment. I nodded, remembering the days when I taught history with outdated textbooks, trying to make past events feel relevant to disengaged teenagers. Still think it's just video games? I asked Principal Thompson. Before he could answer, his phone buzzed with a notification from our system. His grandson, a former struggling student, had just completed an advanced physics course with top scores. You know what the real difference is between us? I said gently. You saw education as a process of information transfer. I saw it as an opportunity for transformation. You focused on maintaining traditional methods. I focused on unleashing human potential. Through the windows, we could see thousands of students in our outdoor learning plaza, using augmented reality to study everything from astronomy to zoology. Each one was learning at their own pace, in their own way, yet all were part of a connected learning community. This isn't just about replacing textbooks, I explained. It's about reimagining what's possible in education. When students can walk through historical events, conduct virtual experiments, and explore complex concepts in 3 dimensions, learning becomes an adventure. The wall of screens showed another milestone. Our billionth lesson completed, another student discovering the joy of learning through immersion. And we were just getting started. 6 months after the National Education Board meeting, I stood in our new Global Learning Center, watching as students from 150 countries simultaneously participated in the world's largest virtual classroom. They were exploring the depths of ocean trenches, witnessing the birth of galaxies, and conducting advanced physics experiments, all through our next-generation neural interface system. Dr. Martinez? David's voice came through my earpiece. The United Nations Education Summit is ready for your keynote. And the teachers' union that once opposed us wants to discuss a complete integration partnership. I smiled at the irony. The same organizations that had called virtual reality education dangerous and anti-teaching were now our strongest advocates. Your active student count just passed 75 million, David continued. Average academic improvement rates are setting global records across all subjects. My phone buzzed, a message from our Chief Learning Officer. Breakthrough in our emotional intelligence tracking. AI can now identify and address learning blocks in real time. Student success rates up another 40%. This was why we were revolutionizing education. While traditional systems struggled to keep students engaged, we were creating learning experiences that students never wanted to leave. David, is everything ready for the global initiative announcement? Yes, ma'am. All feeds standing by. The Universal Access Program is live in 100 developing nations. I walked through our innovation lab, where educators and technologists work together to create the next generation of learning experiences. Today, we were unveiling something that would transform global education forever. The Secretary of Education is waiting in the virtual conference room, David added, along with education ministers from 30 countries. I entered our premier virtual meeting space, a dynamic environment that could transform into any learning scenario needed. Today, it appeared as a grand amphitheater, with representatives from around the world appearing as high-resolution avatars. Welcome to EduVerse Universal, I announced, the world's first truly accessible global education platform. The space transformed as I demonstrated our new system, a comprehensive learning platform that could work on any device, from premium VR headsets to basic mobile phones, ensuring no student would be left behind. Education isn't a privilege, I explained. It's a fundamental right. Today, we're making sure every child has access to the best learning experiences humanity can offer. The main display showed our impact metrics. Dropout rates plummeting in participating schools, literacy rates soaring in developing regions, and students from remote villages accessing the same quality of education as those in major cities. But the infrastructure requirements. One minister started. Are minimal, I finished. Our new compression algorithms allow full VR experiences to run on basic smartphones. We've eliminated the technology barrier. The virtual space transformed again, showing real-time feeds from classrooms worldwide. Students in rural Africa exploring advanced chemistry concepts. Children in Arctic communities studying tropical ecosystems. Young refugees continuing their education despite displacement. This isn't just about technology, I continued. It's about creating equal opportunities for every learner on Earth. David appeared with breaking news. The World Bank just approved funding to implement EduVerse in every developing nation. They're calling it the most significant educational advancement since the printing press. I nodded, remembering the days when I struggled to help my students understand complex concepts through static textbook pages. The global broadcast began, reaching educators and policymakers worldwide. 3 years ago, I began. Someone told me that virtual reality had no place in serious education. Today, we're seeing the highest engagement rates, test scores, and student satisfaction levels in educational history. I guided them through our latest innovations. AI teachers that could adapt to any learning style, virtual labs that made every experiment safe and possible, historical recreations so accurate that students could learn from direct observation of past events. But our proudest achievement, I continued, is our impact on students who were left behind by traditional education systems. The display showed countless success stories. Dyslexic students thriving with our adaptive learning tools, autistic learners excelling in our customized environments, students with physical disabilities experiencing complete freedom in virtual spaces. EduVerse isn't just changing how we teach, I explained. It's changing who has access to quality education. After the presentation, I found Principal Thompson waiting in our virtual recreation of his old school. I was so wrong, he admitted, watching as virtual students explored concepts that would have been impossible to demonstrate in his traditional classrooms. This isn't just teaching differently, it's unleashing human potential. That's exactly what I tried to tell you 3 years ago, I replied, but without bitterness. Education shouldn't be limited by physical or technological constraints. My phone buzzed with another milestone alert. Our system had just facilitated its billionth successful learning outcome. This is why we succeeded, I said, showing him the numbers. We didn't just digitize education, we revolutionized how humans learn. The next morning, I visited our newest initiative, a program bringing advanced educational experiences to refugee camps. Children who had lost everything were now continuing their education through our platform, their faces lighting up as they explored virtual worlds of knowledge. The beautiful thing about virtual reality education, I told a group of visiting educators, is that it erases boundaries. Physical, economic, social. None of these limitations matter in the virtual learning space. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from our research division. New neural interface breakthrough. System can now adapt to learning styles we didn't even know existed. We may have just discovered new dimensions of human intelligence. I smiled, thinking of all the people who said VR education was just a fantasy. They hadn't seen anything yet. The daily user count ticked past 80 million as I prepared for another global session. Students from every corner of the Earth were logging in, ready to explore, learn, and grow together in our virtual classrooms. Dr. Martinez? David appeared with urgent news. The Nobel Committee for Education is on the line. They're saying our impact on global learning accessibility is unprecedented. I thought about my journey from high school history teacher to educational revolutionary. Every obstacle, every dismissal, every skeptic had only fueled my determination to change how the world learns. You know what they never understood? I told David. Education isn't about transferring information. It's about transforming lives. And sometimes the most powerful transformations come from the ideas people dismiss as impossible. If you've ever been told your vision was too ambitious, ever faced skepticism for believing that technology could democratize education, or ever had to choose between convention and innovation, remember this. Sometimes the craziest ideas are the ones that change the world. Subscribe if you want to hear more stories about transforming industries and challenging assumptions. Because every revolution starts with someone crazy enough to believe that learning shouldn't be limited by anything. Not geography, not economics, not tradition. Remember, the future of education belongs to those who can see beyond the classroom walls to the infinite possibilities of virtual learning. What boundaries will you break today? Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.